Hallmarkies podcast. We are so excited to be here today to be talking about 4 new Hallmark movies. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Caroline is here.
Hey.
Yes, and Cammie is here.
Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So we know we had a very eventful weekend in the world of Hallmark, but today we are just here to talk about these 4 movies and have a good time. So hopefully we bring some merriness into your holiday season. We're talking about some of these silly movies. And so I hope you have all been having a really nice holidays. Have you been able to do anything fun? Caroline?
We have like a light, like it's called Swan Lake, and they have lights and stuff. So we've been through there and, just shopping and making cookies and stuff. Good.
That sounds fun. Cammie, you got to do anything fun?
Yeah, we've been at my girls' school events. We went to a live nativity village, which they built a huge wall, and they've basically recreated Bethlehem.
Oh,
they
that's
brought
cool.
Donkeys and camels and everything.
Cool.
It's called Main Street Bethlehem. That's about an hour away from our house, but it is so worth it because it's just so cool. They've basically recreated what it would have been like. So that was really fun. We did that on Saturday.
That's cool. Yeah, one of the churches on my the area churches on my mission did something like that. It was really cool. They had like different rooms, and they had the animals, and you kind of went on the path to the inn and then to the that was really neat. So very cool. Well, let's dive in. So we're going to talk first about Holiday Date. And so this was really exciting for a lot of us because we've really enjoyed Brittany Bristow in the smaller roles. So we're excited for her to get the larger role.
Finally!
Yeah.
She got a starring role! Yay, Brittany!
Yeah. and then this has Matt Cohen in it as well. And the summary is Brooke is dumped right before Christmas and enlists the help of actor Joel to play the role of her boyfriend for the holidays. Brooke had described her ex-boyfriend as Mr. Christmas to her family and worries about keeping up the ruse when she discovers Joel is Jewish. When her family eventually finds out his background, they happily incorporate his Hanukkah traditions into their plans. Christmas and Hanukkah are celebrated side by side as they all learn more about the other's holiday, but when their relationship ruse comes to light, the two have some explaining to do, as well as figure out if they are ready to admit their true feelings. So, Caroline, what was your overall thoughts about this movie?
I really enjoyed it. It was cute. Like, it had some silly moments that I love, and I really enjoyed it. I love seeing Brittany in the starring role, and Matt was a good lead guy too, and the family was just so cute. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What about you, Cammie?
I liked it too. It was different. It was really different from what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that there was going to be the Jewish concept in that particular film. Okay. And so that just kind of threw me for a loop of, wait a minute, what? And so it was not your typical actor plays boyfriend movie, and like I thought it was going to be. So that just was, it was different, and it was that kind of mixed things up a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, I thought this one was really refreshing for the first 2 acts. The ending kind of wasn't as good as the last part wasn't as good. I felt as the first, because I felt like the first 2 acts were really kind of madcap and funny.
Mm-hmm.
Were over the top, and I enjoyed that. I thought that I wish they did more of that in Hallmark movies. Sometimes they take themselves a little bit too seriously sometimes for me. And so I liked that kind of zaniness about it, particularly things like when she's driving like a crazy person, or like things like that. That was funny to me. And then I just felt like I wished they'd either, I don't know, the last third, I felt like it kind of got a little, maybe a little bit more boring. It wasn't as funny as the rest of it. And so I don't know. That would be my only kind of critique. It's interesting because there was a whole article in the New York Times about how Hallmark is doing Hanukkah wrong. Of course, you know, you can't please everybody, but they were particularly hard on this movie, and their point was supposedly that they felt like Jewish people know about Christmas. Like, Christmas is everywhere. For the most part, most Jewish people know about Christmas. And particularly they took to task him not knowing the lyrics of Deck the Halls. And they felt like that was something that people should know. But I kind of disagree. I felt like he,
if you don't grow up with it, then you don't. I mean, we sing it everywhere, but that's us. We celebrate Christmas. So
yeah, but I do feel like there's, especially the Lifetime, I feel like the Lifetime movie was more at fault with this, because literally the whole plot of the movie is them teaching each other about their respective holidays. And I do feel like Christmas is so a part of just culture everywhere, that like the idea that in the Lifetime movie the guy didn't know like about Christmas trees. I mean, they know.
no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that. But I felt like with this one, he basically knew most of the basics, in my opinion. He knew about, in fact, he was like actively excited to be getting a Christmas tree, to be having the Christmas meal, to be, I mean,
gingerbread house.
Yeah, gingerbread house, things like that. I mean, it was a good thing he's not an observant Jewish person, because he wouldn't have been able to have the ham. but
Interesting plot twist.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like, because it's like Old English, don we now our gay apparel. Like, that's sort of a weird lyric. It's not like it's jingle bells, jingle all the way. Like, I think most people would know that, but like, I don't know. I feel like that's not that unreasonable that he wouldn't know that line from Deck the Halls.
I don't think that's unreasonable. My beef with this movie was the stage play, and maybe that's because I'm a theater major. But it was I thought the stage play was a little overacted, and it was, I don't know, it was very stiff. It was and so when the sister leaned over and said, "He's a really good actor," I'm like, no, not really, not a stage actor anyway, you know.
I thought it was kind of hilarious, and this is probably something only people like us who see a million of these movies would notice, is that her mom had 2 Christmas trees and 2 wreaths in the dining area, and then when he comes, he's like, "I thought you guys need a Christmas tree," and I'm thinking, there's like 15 Christmas trees in this house. I don't know, it made me laugh.
It reminded me of the Griswold tree, like how tall it was. Like, that was.
It was funny, but it kind of made me
they
laugh.
needed the family.
I guess he didn't see all the trees in the dining room.
They needed the family Christmas tree, you know.
That was funny to me. One other small nitpick that I had with this movie is I felt sometimes in these kind of Christmas movies, the music will be a little too sort of precocious and like a little too loud, and it's like, okay, we get it, you're trying to be cute, I don't know, that's something that annoys me. It used to be way worse, and they've gotten much better, because even a movie that I really like 9 Lives of Christmas, the music drives me crazy. But that's just me. But I love the whole pretend boyfriend. The whole plot is one of my favorite tropes. I think it's almost always hilarious. And just because it's so ridiculous, and you just want to, when you watch these movies, you just want to escape. And there's just something about especially this weekend, I wanted to escape, but there's something about the fake fiance, fake relationship that just, from the very moment, the very get-go, you're in escapism mode, just because of the plot is so absurd. But I kind of like that.
Well, and I really appreciated the fact that the dad was suspicious the entire time. I mean, Bruce is awesome. He's a great actor. Yeah. And he just brought that skepticism and that grumbling father-in-law attitude to the... he took it to the max, and it was hysterical. But he was suspicious the entire time. And so I really appreciated that, because in so many of those, yes, they're hysterical, yes, they're fun to watch, but you just think, come on, people, are you that dumb? Are you that not blind. And so,
But I just think the whole premise makes you suspend disbelief from the very, very beginning. And
yeah, but the fact that the fact that he was catching on and he was suspicious the whole time, I was like, okay, good, yes.
Yeah.
One person is just, what's going on here?
Usually they make that person that's suspect usually is a little child or kid, I feel like, is usually the one who's like, are you really Mrs. Doubtfire? Or like whatever in these kind of movies. Like it's usually a kid. But yeah, he was good as the dad. I mean, I just thought there were a lot of funny scenes in this. Like I really loved the scene when they're like, they're all trying to pull the tree from the door and they're like, you call that pulling?
Yeah, that was funny.
That was really funny to me. And I thought Peter Benson was so funny in this. We need to get him in more all-out comedies. He did a great job.
He plays the nervous husband really, really well. I mean, it seems that he does that in a lot of roles, whether they're bigger or smaller. He seems to play the nervous husband really well. And I thought it was the sweetest thing at the very end when Walter said, Glenn, would you carve it? Just that, you mean it?
Yeah, that was cute. I agree. And then they have the gingerbread house making scene, and because the joke is he's pretending to be an architect, but he makes this terrible gingerbread house. But the thing is that like gingerbread houses that you're making from scratch, I think unless you're an actual pastry chef or something like that, like it's really hard.
Yeah, being an architect has nothing to do with it.
No, because even if you use a pattern and everything like that, like the dough kind of will bubble a little bit and so it's not like it's all a perfect fit unless you use a kit or something like that. But when it's your own gingerbread, it's really hard to make it work. So that was that. I thought it was really funny.
That roof was pretty pathetic, though.
Yeah, that's
so weird.
Oh, kid could do better than that.
Yeah, it was like four triangles. It was so weird.
Like he was trying to do a teepee roof or something. I don't know.
It was weird. The other thing that they always have in these movies that takes so long is you always see that popcorn, garlic popcorn string.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, they always show it in movies, but like I've tried a couple times to do it in real life, and
it doesn't work. Yeah.
Very labor intensive.
Yeah.
Takes forever.
Yeah, to get that much.
And you always eat more popcorn than you put on the garlic.
Yeah.
Now we're going back to December Bride.
Yeah. I also
this
thought
is so good.
I thought the whole scene where he is taking off the glasses and kind of moving them around so that he doesn't see the ad was hilarious. That really made me laugh.
That was funny.
The game of keep away.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then they decide to admit that he's Jewish, and they dispense of that part of the ruse. And her family is immediately kind of like, yes, we can celebrate Hanukkah too. Which was
I thought
cute.
that was really interesting for this Christmas extravaganza family to say, oh, Jewish? Okay, sure. Let's just go on celebrating Christmas, and we'll add in a menorah.
Yeah, they were like, bonus holiday. Woohoo!
Yay, more. My favorite was when Dad said, Hanukkah tastes just as good as Christmas when they're eating those pastries that he made.
Yeah. And I am going to have a whole podcast with a woman named Susan who contacted me, I'm going to have a whole podcast with a woman whose Twitter name is Stacy Applesauce. I don't know if that's a real name, but anyway, and she's Jewish, and she is really fun. And so she contacted me about doing an episode where we look at all three of the Jewish films, because I don't know that much about that culture. I can't really comment. I don't really comment on other people's religion and how it's depicted. And so anyway, I'm going to be doing that, and we're going to have that up. So we'll have some more sort of analysis from a Jewish perspective of the 3 films, 1 from Lifetime, 2 from Hallmark. So I'm really looking forward to that. But anyway, so it was I thought it was all fun, but again, I'm not Jewish. I don't know. So we'll have that coming up. But I how did you guys feel about Ethan showing up in the middle, kind of the middle of the movie?
Weirdo.
Yeah, that was weird.
You drive all the way out there because of a tagged photo, and then you don't even knock. I mean, I knocked, but no one answered. Like, okay, so you knock again. Oh my gosh. I did not. I thought that was very bad taste. That was very poor judgment of him. And just for him to show up because of a tagged photo, and she said, it's not what you think, we'll talk about it later, you know, and obviously she was trying to get him to shut up, so he should have taken the hint, you know.
Well, I mean, that part of it was fine for me, but I feel like I was expecting, oh, this thing is going to get super madcap now. It's going to get crazy funny. And I don't know if it really, I felt like he went away kind of way too fast, and they missed some comedic potential of having both Ethans there and it being ridiculous. And
I think that would have been a little too much. Too much Ethan.
Oh, see, I would have loved it if they really leaned into that comedy.
Yeah, me too.
I think it had a real chance to be sort of screwball ridiculous, but you'd have to give him some motivation to do it, which I don't know what you would do, but I just felt like he kind of came and went conflict free. Like there really wasn't, him being there wasn't the big bomb to the plot that I thought it was going to be.
That's what I thought too. I was like, uh-oh, here it comes, and then
the
it didn't
bombshell.
happen. Yeah, I was like, oh, I was kind of disappointed in that. But
yeah. So, I just felt like she kind of got away with 2 Ethans a little too easily, and it could have been funnier. But there were a lot of cute flirty moments, like when they're having their snowball fight that turns into what I call the movie fall, where they just happen to fall like right on top of each other, and like that was. And then really
she
cute.
Slammed snow at his face. Yeah. I thought that was classic.
It was really cute. And, you know, then of course they need an actor for the play last minute, and he's still pretending to be an architect at this point. And then also she's been doing the costumes. And at the beginning, she's working for this fashion house, and she starts to really enjoy making the costumes. And then they have a scene under the mistletoe, which I wrote on Twitter. I said, they keep the oath of the mistletoe. Take that, Christmas wishes and mistletoe kisses. Because that movie had mistletoe in the title and mistletoe kisses, and there was 0 mistletoe kisses in that movie. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Good kiss moment, I thought. And then he says, friends don't kiss like that.
That was an awesome line.
Yeah.
That was
really
an
good.
awesome line.
So he doesn't get the movie part that he wanted, so he's disappointed.
Yeah, but judging by how much he kept messing up, I'm wondering how he got any jobs at all. The character himself, not Matt Cohen, but the character is a terrible actor. You know, he's not getting, he keeps on messing up, but he keeps on blurting out all of this stuff. I said, you're not at one with the character, my friend. You keep on saying all the wrong stuff and doing all the wrong stuff.
Well, in fairness, I think the problem with their plan is that the ruse was way too long. I don't know, they were there for like all of Hanukkah, it seemed like, and I'm thinking, that's a long time to pull this off. Like, I think if it had only been a weekend, like 2 days or 3 days, then that would be pretty. I think he was up for the task, but they were too ambitious as far as the time.
Well, and the other thing I thought was so interesting, this was where I thought it was a missed opportunity. They talk about how everybody knows everybody in this small town, And then they're in a cafe where everybody in this small town is stopping for coffee and can hear them. And they're talking in normal voices about the ruse. I'm like, you want to keep it down a little bit? You know, somebody's going to hear. I thought for sure that her friend Cheryl or somebody was going to overhear them in the cafe, because they were making no bone. They were not trying to cover it up at all. So
right. I can see that.
That was the missed opportunity that I thought about.
Yeah. But there's a cute line. He says, I didn't get the movie, but maybe I got the girl.
Oh,
that was cute.
And then I really liked at the end when he gives her the like a little cheek kiss.
Mm-hmm.
That was so cute, I thought. And then the ruse is up and everybody's outraged for a little bit, but then everybody makes up and all's good. And it was a pretty cute movie. So
can we go back to the cheek kiss really quick? I love the fact that they didn't ignore it, because you know how sometimes it happens and then they just and they walk away. But she made a cute little comment, your nose is cold. You know, I thought that was fun that they didn't ignore it. They kind of ran with it.
Yeah, that was cute. So how many crowns would you give this one? What about you, Caroline?
I was going to 3.75.
Yeah, what about you, Cammie?
I'll go with 3.
Oh, okay. I think I would give it the same as Caroline. I'm going to give it 3.75. And I just encourage Hallmark to do more of the funny. I think that really set this movie apart, was how funny it was. So, okay, next we have Christmas in Montana. And this is on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And before the holidays, Sarah goes to Montana to help resistant Travis save his ranch. Can time on the ranch help restore her faith in Christmas in time for a miracle? Oh, yes, this stars Kelly Martin and Colin Ferguson and was written by Julie Sherman-Wolfe, who we love in this podcast. So, okay, Cammie, what was your overall thoughts on this one?
I liked this one more than I thought I would. I'll say that. I thought it was going to be a little humdrum, to be completely honest, because Kelly Martin has a tendency to play very broken characters, very broken. And she was a widow, and when they said that she was a widow, I went, oh crud. And so I thought that it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the whole, we're trying to get over dad. And they did have it, but it wasn't nearly as much as they have in the other movies. And so, I thought it was much better than I thought it was going to be. I do think that they were trying to make it a little too intense. What we were talking about, how Hallmark sometimes takes themselves a little too seriously. Some of the lines delivered were, just driven in. And sometimes I thought that the chemistry that they were trying to make it a little too intense and a little too serious. But overall, I thought it was a sweet movie.
What about you, Caroline?
I liked it more than I thought it would too. I thought Kelly and Colin's chemistry was pretty sweet. Like, I enjoyed them together, and the daughter, the girl that played the daughter, was really good too, and I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. It was, I think the writing elevated it as far as I could see some of Julie's just the way that she would sort of perk up a scene with a funny line or a sweet moment. And I thought they had pretty good chemistry between the two of them. It's not my favorite plot, the save the farm plot.
It's
so
a
that
ranch.
was what hurt it.
It's a ranch. I'm teasing you.
So she has to go to this ranch to check it out for this second loan. So they're really doing their homework on this loan. It must be a really big loan, second loan here. And she's a widow. She hasn't really been in the Christmas spirit since her husband died. And she's just really struggled. She doesn't want to make her daughter sad. And you kind of see that similar theme in the one with Allison Sweeney, the Time to Whatever movie.
Time for me to come home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or time for you.
Time for you.
Time for you. Time for you to come home for Christmas.
Yeah, and frankly, I felt like that one did it a little bit better just because, I don't know, I just bought the emotion of, like, every time Allison would talk about it, she just would kind of well up, and I just felt the emotion in her face, and I don't know, it just worked a little bit better for me, but it was still good. I think Kelly Martin's a pretty good actress, and so she did a good job. And I think Colin Ferguson was the classic man with many jobs that you see in these Hallmark movies, because like he starts out, he's working, he's helping out his aunt or whatever in the Christmas store. And
his friend's wife. It was a friend's wife. Yeah.
But anyway, and then, you know, he's doing everything around the ranch, and he's involved in a million things. So he's kind of your classic Hallmark leading man in that regard. So, and so then also the I feel like the guy who played his father, or the guy who played the guy who played his father, I feel like he's been the murderer in a bunch of murder mysteries.
Yeah.
So that was a little distracting. Like, I don't know if I trust this guy. But I about died laughing when I saw how much garland they had in that barn.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Oh my word. I was like, hello.
Like, just for the horses. It's not even for humans. And there was so much and so many twinkle lights just for the horses. It made me die laughing.
The horses like to pretend that they're reindeer, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
They wanted Christmas too.
Like, literally, I felt like the whole ceiling was just slathered with garland and lights, and it made me laugh.
I thought that Rob Stewart, who played the boss, he also played Tom Clay on When Hope Calls. I thought he was a really, really good boss, and he was also in Angel Falls, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, he had a double hitter this weekend.
Yeah.
And but I thought he did a really good job. He wasn't a Grinch, he wasn't a Scrooge, but he was businesslike. We need to make sure that this goes through for the good of the ranch. So, and I don't think that he wasn't the villain. He wasn't trying to make them do something that would be considered immoral or, you know, against their better interests, the way that some of the men of business do in a lot of these.
Yeah. And one thing I wondered about is, because doesn't she end up sleeping on the couch when she's over there overnight? She sleeps on the couch.
Yeah, one night.
So it made me kind of wonder if this place is going to be used as an inn, basically, or bed and B&B kind of place that they're going to rent out at the end. Do they not have very many rooms?
Yeah.
Because if she didn't have a place to sleep, that's a problem. They might have a problem with not enough rooms in this ranch.
So I think there were two things that I saw with that. Number one, her daughter had already passed out on a couch, so just take the other couch. And then the other thing was, they said that in the budget there was room for renovation.
And that's a big renovation if you're adding.
That's a big renovation, but that could be, or maybe they're converting rooms to bedrooms or something like that.
Yeah, they'd have to do something like that, because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Yeah, if it's only like a 3-bedroom house, then they're gonna have problems. But anyway, that's a nitpick. So turns out she's also a vegetarian. So
on a cattle ranch.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And then there's this woman named Kay who runs the actual bed and breakfast in town. And her and Colin's dad have had this kind of relationship, sort of, that's never realized, you know, that's always kind of there. And so, you know, like, she brings over peppermint hot cocoa, and once she's kind of coming over all the time. And so I liked when they're doing so they start decorating for this potluck, Christmas potluck that they do every year, I guess. And as she's kind of going around, she realizes like they do so many things that they don't actually monetize or charge for in any way. And
oh my gosh. Totally shooting themselves in the foot there.
Yeah. Like you're not a bad person if you charge money for things. Like that's not terrible. I mean,
it was sweet, but oh my gosh, I could not believe how much he was giving away.
Like I'm going to my church Christmas party tonight and I had to pay $12 because we're getting a full meal and then a whole activity afterwards. And if like you need help, then they'll help you. Mm-hmm. But it's not a bad thing. Like you're not less Christmassy because you charge for stuff. I mean,
not charging for a Christmas tree. I mean, do you know how much Christmas trees cost?
Yeah, I wish I lived there.
Right. Yeah, I haven't bought a real tree in a long time, but it's like $50, right?
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
I got a 6-foot tree. That was $65.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different events. She keeps getting kind of delayed in doing this observation, this report that she needs to do. They even go coat shopping, which I feel like you never see in these movies.
Yes,
you never see. I thought that was kind of cute. And
can I say one thing about the coats? This was the one problem I had with the Father Christmas series, because I loved the Father Christmas series. I thought they were amazing, and I know that you don't like them, Rachel, but I really enjoyed them.
Mm-hmm.
But woo! It's 2 against 1 on this one.
No.
But the one thing that bothered me about it is in the very beginning, she's freezing cold and he's fine. And then all of a sudden in the following movies, he's freezing cold and she's just sitting out there. Yeah, it's fine. And I just can't. And then it happened here. And I just thought, why is it that the locals are the ones that are freezing and the ones who come in from LA and Seattle are just sitting there? I like the cold. Seriously? You know what I mean? When they were walking towards the end and she had no gloves on and she's just walking with her hands out of her pockets and he's got his hands in his pockets. I'm like, okay, can you at least put your hands in the pockets of your coats if it's supposed to be 20 degrees out there?
Yeah.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. In Montana.
In Montana!
Yeah.
Christmas in Montana! You know?
Yeah. I did think there was some really nice scenery in this movie. I mean, it was probably just stock footage, but it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I also liked the whole small town feel. That's very Christmassy, and just things like the super secret eggnog recipe and some of those things were very Christmassy, and I liked that. I also liked that he gives her this like kind of ear kiss.
Yeah.
It was a cheek kiss.
No, it was a little higher than that. It was sort of, it was really cute. I liked it. And then the boss is getting increasingly concerned, but her daughter, she makes immediate friends with this other girl. So she's having a great time.
Yeah.
And so she comes up with her daughter is posting on social media and stuff, all these photos of all the fun stuff they're doing. And that's where she gets the idea that how they can save the ranch and make it a Christmas ranch. So I think I don't know if you would want to do Christmas all year. I think that, I don't know if that's what they were saying.
That's what I was starting to wonder.
I was wondering that too.
Or if it would be Holiday Inn kind of an idea. And so, she tells him you've got to add monetization to what you already do. And so, and then she stays up like all night long and she makes this whole video to present to
impressive
character. I'm like, wow, way to go. And I liked, and then they dance and then they walk on Montana time is what they say, which I thought it was cute. And they have like a cute little hand holding scene, which I thought was I liked.
Where her hands were not in her coat pockets.
Yeah. And you don't need to be in your coat pocket when you've got the warmth of the other person in your
just hold. I would rather hold a hand than have it in my coat pocket.
He could have reached into her coat pocket and taken hold of her hand, or she could have had gloves on. That's what I mean.
And then they end up getting the loan, which was very exciting. And he takes her to a fancy restaurant and he pre-orders a special vegetarian dinner. And
so thoughtful.
With tofu in it. And he's like, I thought I would have to order a steak on the side, but this is good.
Steak on the side.
It's cute. And then he says, have I thanked you for reminding me what it feels like to fall head over heels for somebody? So that was cute. And then I also thought one of the really good scenes was when she gives her daughter a charm from this bracelet that her dad had given her, and she hadn't wanted to wear the bracelet because she thought it would make her sad, and so it's sort of her way of kind of remembering her dad. It's basically like, it's good to remember, and I thought that was a nice scene.
Mm-hmm. I
loved the father-son scenes. I thought that those were really sweet. At the very beginning with the lights, he's putting up all white lights because that's the way mom did it. And then the dad says, sometimes changing things up makes what you already have even better, because he was adding colored lights, which are a personal favorite of mine. But then he says, the lights are a metaphor. Oh yeah, I get it, Dad.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, where he says, I know what you're gonna say. Oh yeah, really? Like, yes, you're gonna tell me that I made a big mistake for not going after, and that, yep, that's pretty much it. Thanks for saving me the trouble. It's just, I thought they played the father-son dynamic really well.
Well, and he tells him, if I'm putting it out there, you should too. And so
yes, turn around is fair play. I really liked that.
That was nice.
Me too.
And so, of course, she decides that she's going to stay in Montana and it's all going to be great. And that was the end of the movie. So, Caroline, how many crowns would you give this one?
I'm going to give it 3.25.
What about you, Cami?
Yeah, I'll go with 3.25 as well.
Okay, good. I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it a 3. I enjoyed it, but it's not one that I will remember. It's not a favorite, but it was okay. A surprise with our sponsorship today that you definitely, longtime listeners of this podcast will really enjoy. So take it away, Amber.
Hey, Rachel. Is it okay if I step in right now?
Oh, who is this? This is very exciting.
Yeah, it's Amber. Hi. Just usually hanging out in the background, not saying anything. So I just thought I'd come up and jump in right now, if that's all right.
Yeah, this is so exciting.
Okay. So I just wanted to talk to you because, it is the holidays. And one of my favorite parts about the holidays is reconnecting with my family. I love swapping stories and reliving moments with my family together. But keeping memories alive can be hard. And that's why this year I'm giving my family the most meaningful gift, Storyworth.
Yeah, what's that? What's Storyworth?
Storyworth is an online service that helps your loved ones tell the story of their lives through thought-provoking questions about their memories and personal thoughts. Every week, Storyworth emails your family member different story prompts, questions you never thought you'd ask, like, what have been some of your greatest life surprises? And what's one of the riskiest things you've ever done?
Yeah.
And then after 1 year, Storyworth will compile every answered question and photo you choose to include into a beautiful keepsake book that is shipped for free. And you'll never know what family history Storyworth will uncover. So I've been doing this with my grandma. And we found out this beautiful story about her grandparents. When they first met, her grandma had just been broken up with the boy that thought she was going to marry. And my grandpa came up to her and she was crying. He was like, "What's wrong?" And she said, "There's nothing you can do. I'm upset because my heart is broken. You can't, whatever." Yeah. And he said, I'm a blacksmith. I can fix anything.
Aww.
Unbelievable.
So cute.
So if you want to help preserve and pass on memories for your family with Storyworth, which is the most meaningful gift to give to your family, sign up today by going to storyworth.com/Hallmarkies. You get $20 off your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/Hallmarkies for $20 off.
That's great. Sounds like a great gift.
It's incredible. Anyway, okay, sorry. I'm going to let you get back
Merry
to the podcast
Christmas.
now. Merry Christmas.
Next, we have A Cheerful Christmas. And so this one is Lauren and her best friend Colleen think they have landed their dream job giving people the best and most magical Christmas ever as their personal Christmas coaches. This holiday season promised to be their biggest ever when they land a royal client, the Anderson family, who has moved from England. When Lauren meets James, the eldest son, he wants nothing to do with planning Christmas as he's busy negotiating a big acquisition for his father's company. But Lauren won't be thwarted in helping this royal family embrace the true spirit of Christmas. And the more she prods James about their family holiday traditions, the more he opens up. Sparks start to fly, but she faces competition in the form of an old childhood friend and business colleague of James. Now Lauren must win his heart while giving the Andersons their best Christmas ever. So this stars Erica Deutschman and Chad Connell. So this movie, I had no expectations for it at all. I didn't know either of the leads. I didn't know much about it. And I think we had nothing at all about it at the preview. And I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. I thought that it was really funny. And I thought that she was like, she was the kind of insane person for Christmas that I think is really entertaining in these movies. Like, I think in real life, she would be way too much. But in this kind of movie, she was really cute, I thought, and really funny. And so I enjoyed it a lot. I thought that there were a lot of cute moments and a lot of swoon-worthy moments. And I also liked that this other woman lady was just kind of over the top. Miranda or whatever it was, or Miriam. And she was funny to me. I don't know, I just really laughed and I enjoyed it. And I was definitely in the mood for something really light and fun. And so I was pleasantly surprised by this one. What about you, Caroline?
I mean, I haven't seen all of it, but the parts I did see, I really liked. Like, my DVR didn't save it all.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks.
Our DVR.
Yeah.
What about you, Cammie?
This one wasn't my favorite one of the weekend. I still liked it. There were a lot of cute lines and there were some cute parts, but I didn't care for it entirely. I did really enjoy Chad Connell. It was bugging me. He looked so familiar. So I looked him up and he's actually been on several Hallmark movies. I just never quite put it together. The one that I think a lot of us would probably know is Hello, It's Me with Kevin Smith and Kelly Martin. He played her husband, Andre.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it was, but yeah, and he's been in A Christmas for the Books and Christmas at Grand Valley, but he's never been the lead before. So he's not a forefront in our minds. But I really appreciated his accent. I thought he did a really great accent because that can get phony and it can get tired. And I really thought that he played the British Lord very well. There were just a couple of things that I didn't quite prefer, but all in all, it's still a cute movie.
And I liked this Erica Deutschman. I hope she does more because she just had a bubbly energy I really found charming. So it starts out, her dad isn't going to be able to make it to Christmas because he's doing this charity thing in Boston, and which I thought was sort of an interesting dynamic, that he's not a bad man of business. He's actually super, super charitable, but he's missing out on spending time with his daughter, which is unusual kind of dynamic for Hallmark. And her thing is this Christmas coaches is they go and they make the perfect Christmas for whoever hires them. And I don't know how you make a real business out of this.
I was just gonna say that. Like,
But-
what do they do for the other 10 months of the year?
They must get paid a lot of money doing this Christmas coaches thing.
How do you make a living?
I was wondering that too.
Yeah. But I don't know, compared to, I did like Christmas Made to Order, but in my opinion, I just thought that this was better because she was just so in love with Christmas that it was really fun. It was infectious to me. And so you've got this, even compared to Christmas Wishes, Mistletoe Kisses, like I just thought that this character was more bubbly, and I liked that.
I like the fact that she admitted that he was handsome right away.
Yeah, that's true too.
We're not trying to fight it.
Yeah, and he's kind of a grump at first, and you're making so much noise. Why did you put the Santa on our desk? And she's on my desk, and she's very like, well, of course I did. It's Christmas.
It plays Deck the Halls. That's your favorite carol.
Yeah.
His reluctant smile when he poked it and it started playing, and he's going back to his paperwork and he's trying not to smile. That was probably one of my favorite moments. Oh man, that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I loved the line when he's like, "Did you graduate from the College of Christmas?" And she's like,
"Oh my
no,
gosh,
but that would be amazing."
Decorating 101.
That was so funny to me.
I was signed up for that college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Whatever the tuition costs, get me in.
But yeah, even the business plan, even if you accept it that they make enough, but they would still have to be compensated for in some way for all the decorations and all the other purchases that she's making as a Christmas coach. So it requires a big suspension of disbelief, but I liked her so much I was willing to go there.
Well, they're British lords, so they're British royalty. So I don't think you got to worry about the compensation for this client.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting that he's a bad man of business to start, but he's not really, because he feels really bad about acquiring this small company that they're buying, and he feels kind of bad about it. I'm like, wow, conflicted bad man of business at the very beginning, like from the day one. He was like, oh, I feel bad about breaking up this family company. I don't know, that was interesting to me. And just I loved the whole scene. She's taking him out shopping and kind of introducing him to Christmas, and then they go skating, and I loved that skating scene. I thought it was super cute.
I did too. I really liked that one, and how he slipped his hand in. Speaking of hands.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I see what you did there. Nice job. Nice job, James.
What did you think, Caroline, of all that?
I thought it was cute. Those parts were cute. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they had done more of this. I'm sure that she must have had more visions, but then it got cut for time. But I loved that whole scene when she's daydreaming and she sees him in a tux.
Oh yeah.
And it may have
with the green coat. Yes.
Yeah, that was so cute.
And at the beginning, when she's walking into the room and stuff, and she sees like all the Christmas decorations and stuff like that in
and
the room.
Tree with the big red bow around it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I loved how she was like equally excited in her personal life about Christmas as she was in her business life. Mm-hmm. She's making red and green popcorn, and she's like super excited. Really
she is me. She is me.
Yeah. And also, this is the only Hallmark movie I can think of where they have him invite her to his polo match. That was funny.
Okay, that moment right there, that was one of the moments that bothered me. You're dancing with this woman, you twirl her in, and right there you invite her to the polo match, and then you try to kiss her. That seemed a little switched around for me, I thought that maybe he should try to kiss her first, and then they get interrupted, and then he says, well, would you like to come to the polo match? That just seemed odd placement for that line.
It was fine for me, but what annoyed me is that they have the near kiss and they stop for a phone call. What are you doing? Why?
That happens a lot.
I hate it. I hate it. Like, if you're going to make a near kiss, then you have to make it something legit. Like, nobody's going to stop kissing because of a phone call.
Yeah.
make
The
it.
mood is broken. The mood
No,
is broken. So then
I
the
don't.
embarrassment comes back. You know?
No, I don't believe it. I think it needs to be something more legit. Someone coming into the room. There has to be something more. Nobody would stop
nervous.
kissing someone over a phone call.
Mhm.
I don't believe it.
I have
No.
seen it happen in real life. I really have. So
That's crazy to me. And so don't do that anymore, Hallmark. It's dumb. I don't like it. And then she gets really annoyed with him that he gives her his cup at the party. And
oh no, it was another guy. It was a different guy that just handed her his cup.
You sure? I thought it was
Yes,
him.
positive. No, it wasn't him. It was an old guy with a beard, gray beard.
Well, she's mad at him because she feels like he's treating her like a servant and not like a, potential love interest. And but she looked beautiful at that party. I loved her dress because I've been annoyed a lot this season, people wearing black and weird colors and dresses and
Not
so this was a
Christmas.
Christmas dress, and it was red, and it was beautiful.
And
I really
she had
liked
the
that.
lipstick to match, and her hair looked great.
Yeah.
My big beef is when they have these plunging necklines with this big, huge empty space, and then there's this teeny tiny little gold chain that's practically a choker or no necklace at all. And just like, really? That looks awful. But she had this gorgeous gold sparkly necklace. I said, finally, we got a decent party dress and accessories to go with it.
Yeah, she looked beautiful. And I just thought that Miriam was a fun other woman. Like, she was very over the top, like, honestly, like very snooty.
Yeah,
and that made me
snooty.
laugh.
I was trying to figure out if she was covering an accent because she was supposed to be American, but I don't know. It sounded like she was trying to cover something.
I don't know, but yeah, it was funny to me. And I also liked they're playing like Christmas. I think she called it Christmas Eve Dash, like Balderdash kind of thing. Anyway, she's playing Christmas Eve, basically charades. And I thought that was funny. I mean, these people, she really does walk the walk, talk the talk. Christmas. She loves Christmas. Yeah. And so he gets her dad to come back for Christmas, and that was really cute and unique. Like, he's working at a food bank, but like being with her family is also really important. So I liked that. And then they kiss, and it was just super cute. I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. And again, I was really in the mood for something escapist. And that's what I felt like it gave to me. So I'm going to
Don't forget the envelopes on the tree. I thought that was
cute.
That was the most beautiful moment in the movie besides the kiss, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that was
cute.
Because just bringing that all back to the family tradition, and then how the tree was just covered in envelopes from the entire guest list. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was cute. I would give this one 4.25. I really liked it, way more than I expected. And so, Caroline, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it 3.5.
Yeah. Cammie, what about you?
3.25.
Okay, good. All right. Last one that we have is Angel Falls, A Novel Holiday. And this is book editor Hannah must work with former rival Ryan to help a potential writer find her way. Angel Anthony reminds them about Christmas, the Christmas spirit, and the value of community. And so what was interesting, there were a lot of interesting things about this movie, but it was kind of interesting to me that, like, really the angel wasn't actually there as much for Hannah and Ryan as he was there to help Tina find her Christmas spirit, the writer and editor lady. And he'd even say at the end, oh, well, that was Hannah and Ryan was a happy accident.
Yeah, they admitted it.
Yeah, I liked that. I thought that made it kind of unique to have 3 protagonists. That's unusual for a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I like that it wasn't for Hannah and what's Carlo's character's name?
Ryan.
I can't remember.
Ryan.
I like that. I
Mhm.
like that it wasn't for them, but for Tina.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting. And I do think that they could have used the angel a lot more. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like him especially. I mean, it's different.
I thought so too.
It's different than in the first Angel Falls because the angel is
Was the
Yeah,
love
love
interest.
interest.
yeah.
And I think the first Angel Falls was significantly better, but I
Mm-hmm.
loved that first Angel Falls
Me too.
movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was just about perfect of a
I,
Hallmark movie.
I was
Uh,
sad. I was sad that that one of the leads wasn't the angel too. Like I was
yeah,
kind of
It
but
was
disappointed.
I'm
definitely a different take on Angel Falls because we're so used to the first movie with
Mm-hmm.
her being the angel.
I don't know. I just thought that first Angel Falls movie they had such great chemistry and there were
Mm-hmm.
so many great moments and the whole theme of free will and was just so well executed.
Yeah, I love
But
that.
yeah,
Which is interesting because Paul Green and Rachel Boston are in age. There's
yeah,
a huge age gap between the two of them, but it still worked somehow.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
loved that movie. And this movie for me was it was fine. I enjoyed it. It was definitely elevated by the leads and had some interesting things. So I liked it. It just wasn't as good as that first one,
I
in my
agree.
opinion. Yeah. So you agree with that, Caroline?
Yeah, I love Jen, Lily, and it's kudos to Jen for going back to
Amazing.
work 3 weeks or 8 weeks, I'm sorry, after having a baby. Like all the Hallmark actors that have babies that soon, like I think that's amazing. But in Carlo, I was happy to see him in a lead movie again. That made me
Mhm.
happy. But
Yeah.
like you said, they elevated the movie for me.
Yeah.
And what's the Eric Close as an angel? I
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah.
wish Bo was an angel too, but
I know. It would have been nice if even just like a little cameo,
mm-hmm.
even if they did it on green screen or whatever, there was like
Yeah.
a tiny little cameo from him. That
Yeah.
would have been fun
Yeah.
for me. But what did you overall think, Kimmy?
I really liked this one actually. Maybe it's because I haven't watched the first one in a while, but I really, really enjoyed this one. And I loved Carlo. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my
Yeah.
gosh. I thought his character was so adorable. And he was just the sweetest.
Yeah.
He was very playful and very sweet. I mean, all Hallmark leads are playful and sweet. Yeah. Well, most of them are playful, but unless they're the bad man of business. But I don't know. There was just something so boy next door, but not so corny about him. He just played it very naturally, and I absolutely adored him. And I haven't seen him in a whole lot, and so seeing him play this role, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
you have now got yourself another fan because I mean, where was it? I even wrote it down because I thought it was so funny. When she admitted, oh, I should have consulted you a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
When she says that, and he goes, oh, I don't know. It was just so cute and so sweet, and just he was adorable.
Yeah. He has been probably the most swoon-worthy, most effective part of Chesapeake Shores.
Definitely.
Him and his partner in the show, Lacey Millay, I think have been the best part of Chesapeake Shores, and they have very swoon-worthy scenes. And so, yeah, he's really good, and I think they should use him more. He was also, I really liked him in what's it called?
The Vermont movie.
Vermont, yeah,
Yeah.
Vermont one with Lacey Chabert. And so, yeah, he's really good. I liked him a lot too. The whole sort of, it starts out with, there's like this sleigh lighting. It wasn't even the Christmas tree lighting. It was like this sleigh thing. I don't know. It was different.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric Close is there with his angel person, and
Handing out candy canes.
Yeah,
I
That was
thought that
cute.
was cute. Yeah, that they kept that going from the first movie.
Yeah, he says, love is so simple and pure that anything can happen. And
and yet it's incredibly complicated, is what Anthony said.
And so Carlo Marx is in town. He hasn't been back since his parents passed away in an accident. And so he's there. His uncle is retiring, and he is there to kind of settle the estate, I guess, for lack of a better word. And
take it off his uncle's plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so Jen Lily's mom is running a publishing house, whatever.
Company.
And they do mostly nonfiction. And so I don't know if she wants to hire him to start to look into the fiction component of their business. And so that's kind of gets the plot going. And so they were high school sweethearts. Now they're forced to kind of work together. And also you get a little scene where the angel in the bookstore leaves out a Christmas romance novel for her to find.
Yeah.
And the bookstore owner is played by Laura Miotta, who we have interviewed and we loved, and we want to encourage Hallmark to keep using her because she's great. And I still have my dream of Laura Miotta and Cardi Wong movie because I think they would be so good together.
Yes.
She was a great interview, and I really think she does a good job with whatever part that she's given. And so then you have you have this lady Tina. What did you think about her and her story? What do you think, Caroline?
I like that storyline. Like, it was different than the two leads having to deal with the grief and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that she was like retiring and like the grief took her away from work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was well played, and well acted.
I don't think I've ever seen that actress before.
Me either.
She did a good job.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah. Oh, then you have some like flirty banter, and then there's like this baking emergency that they have to deal with. And things get a little bit confusing when he gets a job offer, and then she kind of feels like, oh, you're honing in on my turf anyway. There's sort of why didn't you tell me about it? There's kind of this conflict going on.
Well, and that started the whole problem in the first place because they were friends. Their families were obviously very close because her mom has kept in touch with him, and his mom gave her first Tina book.
Mm-hmm.
And so their families were obviously very, very close, but then he applied for the job that she wanted and he got it. And so that kind of made her bitter towards him. And the whole time he had no idea that was something that she wanted with all her heart. So that started the whole thing.
Yeah. Did you like those, I think it was 3 or 4 of those gift wrapping ladies, those kind of busybody ladies?
Yeah. Oh, that was cute.
Yeah. They were pretty fun.
The one was in Christmas Town, and she played the same kind of character. So
that was sweet.
So it was kind of fun to see. I was trying to figure out what their relationship was. Were they just friends, or were they sisters, or because they were always seen together every single time? So are they just trying to get every single bit of gossip that they possibly can together?
I think they're just busybody ladies. But Jen Lily, I thought
love gossip.
Yeah, I thought Jen Lily looked really beautiful in this movie. I mean, she's always beautiful, but I really liked the way that her hair was styled, the highlights, and I don't know, I just thought she looked beautiful, and they did good costuming for her. She's pulling off the post-pregnancy look. Incredible.
Oh my gosh. Okay, as a person who has had a baby, I did not look that good 8 weeks after having my first baby because that was her first pregnancy.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, and I still, after my first pregnancy, I slimmed down pretty fast, but not that fast, not that good. Oh my word.
Yeah, this is very impressive. Very, very impressive. Jen.
She looked great.
Yeah.
And the green dress, was it a dress? I love that green dress.
With you. And she says to Tina, she says, I've never found a man who lives up to the man in your books.
Oh.
And then when she finds out he's actually based on a real person, on her husband, and she says sometimes you have to put down your book to see what's in front of you. So I thought that was really
words
nice.
were never spoken.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with my husband and me. While he and I met while I was waiting for someone else to come home from a missionary service, and I was dead set on marrying this guy. And then, finally I took the book down, so to speak, and it's like, because the guy came back and he wanted nothing to do with me, and he had and he hadn't bothered to tell me until he came back. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And so I finally took the time to look at this guy and to see him for who he really was, to see that he had been my best friend for a year now. And I just went, stupid. What were you thinking? And luckily he still wanted me.
There you go.
So she's going to have the job now to expand the fiction department, and she's pretty excited about that. So she gives him this present of a snow globe, and they almost kiss, but darn Santa interrupts.
Oh my gosh! Santa is the one that called them lovebirds, and then he interrupts them kissing. Come on!
It's still better than the cell phone.
There you go.
But still, come on, Santa!
And then Tina is going to leave Angel Falls, and then they kind of catch her before she gets on the train or the bus or whatever it was, and they say running isn't the answer. Stay here and be part of this community. He says, we know you miss Lawrence, but you deserve to be surrounded by people who love you.
And then who tries to do the same thing? Oh, right, Ryan.
Yeah. So Jen overhears him talking about this job offer that he's been made, and then she gets very mad at him, and then she says, "Weren't you the one who told me running isn't the answer?"
Oh,
and
Tina tells that to Ryan.
Yeah, and so Tina unretires, and he doesn't leave, and so and then Jen's character apologizes, and so does he. They all make up. It's all great.
Happy ending.
Yeah.
I love what they said. I love what they said to each other, because she overheard him say, "I've got to get out of here," but she misunderstood. It was, "I've got to get out of here and make sure everything's all set so I can stay." Yeah. And so when she says at the very end, "You're coming back," and he says, "As fast as I can." I thought that was a really great turnaround.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then he says, "You've fallen for me?" And
that was so cute.
Oh, that was really precious. That was so precious.
And then we find out, from the angels, that Tina found her spirit, and Hannah and Ryan, it was a happy accident. So there we go. That's this one. So Caroline, what would you give this one? How many crowns?
I'm going to say 3.75.
Okay, good. Cammie, what about you?
I'm gonna go with 3.75. Maybe I'd probably go 3.8. I really liked this one.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But Angel Falls was like 5 for me. The first one.
I think I gave that a perfect score as well. I absolutely loved that first one.
I think I don't know. Maybe I'll go somewhere between 3.8 and 4.
Cool.
Good. Like I said, I really, really, really liked him. He was adorable.
Yeah, you would probably love those scenes then in Chesapeake Shores, but it's not worth it.
No.
I don't watch Chesapeake Shores. That is one show that I don't watch. So,
but no, I'm just teasing. But so I give this one 3.25. It was fun. It was serviceable. But yeah, and I do think that 3.25 is there because I really enjoyed the casting most of all. But anyway, so there you go. That's this weekend's movies. So let us know what you thought if you got to see these movies. Anyway, let us know what you thought of these movies. How many crowns would you give them? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. That would be really fun. And thank you so much, ladies, for coming on talking about these. I know it's such a busy time on the holidays. And so, Cami, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Cami Drama Girl, Cami spelled Kami, and on Facebook, the Hooked Hardy Facebook page. And also, you can find me at hookedhardy.com. That's my blog.
Great. And Caroline, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Meta Caroline R.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. I will be reviewing the new Star Wars movie coming up over on my channel, and Cats. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So make sure you're checking that all out. I really appreciate it. So thanks again, you guys. Make sure you are following Hallmarkies Podcast at Hallmarkies Pod or Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, please give us your thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That means so much to us. Consider becoming a member of our Patreon group. We have a lot of good discussions. We have exclusives, giveaways, all that stuff, and the information will be in the description section. And then we also have our merch store. If you're looking at any last minute gifts for the Hallmarky in your life, you can check that out, the inspired gifts. Plus we have holiday inspired shirts, designs from artist Jessica Miller. So check that out as well. And thanks again. We wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and we'll
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas. Bye.